Hello everyone, in this video we are going to learn about traditional TCP. I am going to give a brief revisit to traditional TCP. TCP, as we all know, TCP is nothing but Transport Control Protocol. It is reliable, end-to-end in the sense receiver to sender, sender to receiver, that is end-to-end. Connection oriented transport layer protocol. At first it was designed for connection oriented only, so it is connection oriented transport layer protocol that provides a byte stream based service. Byte stream based service in the sense the stream of bytes from the application layer is split into TCP segments. The length of each segment limited by a maximum segment size, that is MSS. As we all know, there is an application layer in OLSI model or any other model. We have this application layer, right? So the main functionality of this application layer is to send streams of data, right? So here, by using this TCP model, the streams of data is sent in the form of bytes. And these bytes are split into TCP segments, several segments, which are of length MSS, defined length, that is maximum segment size. There is a restriction on this. The major responsibilities of TCP include congestion control. You know what is meant by congestion, right? Congestion means packet loss or retransmission timeout errors. Those are known as congestion. The major responsibilities of TCP include congestion control, flow control, in-order delivery of packets, and reliable transportation of packets. As you all know, reliable transportation of packets means the receiver must receive the sender packets. That is reliable transportation of packets. In-order delivery of packets, there will be a predefined path. In that path, it has to travel, the packets, the data has to travel. That is known as in-order delivery of packets. Next point, congestion control deals with the excess traffic in the network, which may lead to degradation in the performance of the network. As we all know, TCP protocol is adaptive, highly adaptive. So congestion control deals with excess traffic. Excess traffic means it will have to, actually in network layer the traffic will be high, as the data packets must be shared between sender and user. There are many number of users and senders, receivers, right? So the traffic will be high, which may lead to degradation in the performance of the network. In order to control the transmission, it will be concentrating more on congestion problem, so which will ultimately degrade the performance of the whole network, as the transmission and the reception will degrade, right? Next, flow control controls the per flow traffic such that the receiver capacity is not exceeded. For example, let us consider a sender and a receiver. If sender can send 10 packets at a time, let us assume like that, sender can send 10 packets at a time, but the receiver can receive only 5 packets at a time. So the sender must send 5 packets at a time, not 10 packets at a time. This is known as flow control, which must be really adaptive in this TCP protocol. Flow control controls the per flow traffic such that the receiver capacity is not exceeded. Next point, TCP regulates the number of packets sent to the network by expanding and shrinking the congestion window. As I have told you, the congestion window size is monitored by using this MSS. We know that MSS, maximum segment size, right? TCP regulates the number of packets sent to the network by expanding and shrinking the congestion window. Due to the number of packets sent by a sender, the congestion will happen. If the receiver cannot receive those many number of packets, then it will happen. The TCP sender starts the session with a congestion window value of 1 MSS. 1 MSS in the sense 1 maximum segment size. It sends out one MSS and wait for the acknowledgement. This acknowledgement will be sent by receiver. The sender will send one MSS and the receiver will send acknowledgement for that received MSS, one MSS packet. Once the acknowledgement is received, within the retransmission timeout RTO period, the congestion window is doubled. That means the congestion window value will become now 2 MSS are originated. Right? I'll tell you again briefly. This doubling of this congestion window with every successful acknowledgement of all the segments in this current congestion window is called as slow start. This doubling, the value doubles, right? First the congestion window value was 1 MSS and now it is 2 MSS. This doubling of the congestion window value with every successful acknowledgement of all the segments in the current congestion window is called slow start. Slow start. I'll explain here briefly. This is sender. This is receiver. Let us consider this is congestion window value. Here the congestion window value at first it is 1 MSS at start. It is 1 MSS. So it starts sending 1 MSS to the receiver. After receiving this receiver it will send acknowledgement to the sender. When the sender receives this acknowledgement, it updates the congestion window value to 2 MSS value. And this 2 MSS, it will send again 2 MSS. Now it will send 2 MSS to receiver. Now the receiver will send again acknowledgement. Again this congestion window value increments. This process is known as slow start. A more appropriate name would be exponential start, as it actually grows exponentially, right? First it was 1 MSS, now 2 MSS, later it increases. So it grows exponentially. So it is exponential start or slow start. And it continues until the congestion window reaches the slow start threshold value. There must be a limit for everything, right? Here also we have slow start threshold value in order to control this congestion window value. Once it reaches the slow start threshold, it grows linearly. As I have told you, this is the limit of congestion control window value. Once it reaches the slow start threshold value, it grows linearly. Means it grows exponentially in the earlier version. Exponentially in the sense, for suppose it grows 1, 2, 8, 4, 1, 2, 4, 8 MSS like that. Linearly means only 1 MSS. For every one acknowledgement, it will grow just 1 MSS. That is linear. So it grows linearly, adding 1 MSS to the congestion window on every acknowledgement received. This linear growth, which continues until the congestion window reaches the receiver window, receiver window here in the sense which is advertised by the TCP receiver and carries the information about the receiver buffer size. You see here this linear increase will continue till the receiver limit. Receiver has a limit, right? Its buffer size, that is receiver's buffer size. This is known as, it grows until it reaches it. This is known as congestion avoidance. In order to avoid congestion, in order to not to create congestion, this linear increment is linear growth is evolved. For suppose if you consider exponential increase, then the TCP receiver's limit will be exceeded, right? So this linear growth is adapted here after certain threshold limit. This is known as congestion avoidance, as it tries to avoid increasing the congestion window exponentially, which will surely worsen the congestion in the network. As I have told you, if a congestion occurs between two nodes, then it will worsen the situation of the whole network. TCP updates the RTO. This is retransmission timeout. Within a particular time, the acknowledgement must be sent, or else the sender will send again the MSS packet. TCP updates the retransmission timeout period with the current round trip delay calculated on the arrival of every acknowledgement packet. That is, see here, this is the sender and this is receiver. It has sent MSS packet and it must receive acknowledgement packet. So here retransmission timer will start when it starts sending MSS packet. This is MSS packet plus this acknowledgement packet delay. So sending MSS packet delay plus receiving acknowledgement packet delay. This is round trip time delay. This will be updated into the RTO, retransmission timeout. Value will be updated based on the current retransmission timeout value calculated on the arrival of every acknowledgement packet. If the acknowledgement packet does not arrive within the retransmission timeout period, then it assumes it, in the sense the receiver will assume that the packet is lost, right? If the RTO has been exceeded, then the packet must have been lost somewhere. What packet? MSS packet. TCP assumes that packet loss is due to the congestion in the network and it invokes congestion control mechanism. As we all know, congestion means nothing but packet loss. So it assumes that packet loss is due to congestion in the network. It invokes congestion control mechanism. We'll see what is meant by congestion control mechanism. The TCP sender does the following during the congestion control mechanism. Reduces the slow start threshold to, we have a slow start threshold value, right? Exponential growth to half the current congestion window value. The current congestion window value will be there before achieving congestion, right? So it will reduce the slow start threshold value. Threshold value will be reduced to half of the current congestion window, or else it will take 2 MSS value simply, whichever is larger. If this one is large, then it will consider 2 MSS value. If this one is large, I mean half of the current congestion value, it will consider this value. Resets the congestion window size to 1 MSS. Resets the congestion window size to 1 MSS. That means it will again start the slow start algorithm. Activates the slow start algorithm. Of course, after resetting this congestion window size to 1 MSS, it will activate the slow start algorithm. Resets the RTO with an exponential back of value which doubles with every subsequent retransmission. It means that RTO will be large so that the round trip delay and of course other delays will be covered. Resets the RTO with an exponential back of value which doubles with every subsequent retransmission. The slow start process further doubles the congestion window with every successfully acknowledged window. It will slow start process, actually we know that, right? It will be doubled. The congestion window value will be doubled. First 1 MSS, next 2 MSS, next 4 MSS, like that, with every successfully acknowledged window. And upon reaching the slow start threshold, it enters into the congestion avoidance phase. We all know this phase, right? Where the receiver's buffer size is less than the transmitted number of packets, right? I'll show you in this graph. I hope you see it. See here, first we have 1 MSS value. On y-axis it is congestion window size value, and on x-axis it is time. Here when it is 1 we have 1, when it's 2 we have 2, when it's 3 we have 4, like that. It will increase like that. This is actually start point. When it is 1 we have when it is 0 we have 1, when it is 1 we have 2, when it is 2 we have 4, doubles, right? When it is 3 we have 8, when it is 4 we have 16, like that. This is exponential growth, right? So it is exponential startup algorithm. And then linear. Linear means if one step increases, if input increases, output also increases by one step, right? So this is linear increase. To avoid congestion, this is congestion control phase. The TCP sender also assumes a packet loss if it receives 3 consequent duplicate acknowledgements, dup ACKs. This is just an annotation. Repeated acknowledgements for the same TCP segment that was successfully received in order at the receiver. This packet loss will occur. Packet loss may occur due to different causes, right? For suppose packet loss may occur with respect to the congestion. So we have seen this algorithm for congestion. TCP assumes that packet loss may occur if it receives 3 consecutive duplicates. Means one after the other it will receive these acknowledgement packets. For successfully sent TCP segment, it will get 3 duplicate packets, acknowledgement packets. Upon reception of 3 duplicate acknowledgements, the TCP sender retransmits the oldest unacknowledged segment. This is called as the fast retransmit scheme. You see, upon reception of if unacknowledged segment is there, then for that the receiver might forget about it and have sent acknowledgement for that one. But here we have got this acknowledgement for another segment due to time delay or traffic or any other issue. So the TCP will retransmit the oldest unacknowledged segment. This is known as fast retransmit scheme. When the TCP receiver receives out of order packets, it generates duplicate acknowledgements to indicate to the TCP sender about the sequence number of the last in order segment received successfully. You see, how does TCP receiver knows whether the packet that has been sent by the sender is new one or out of order one. You see every packet has a sequence number which will be increased automatically after sending new packets. So by using that, it will know, the receiver will get to know whether it is an out of order packet or new packet. It will get to know. So when the TCP receiver receives those kind of packets, it generates duplicate acknowledgements to indicate to the TCP sender about the sequence number of the last in order segment received successfully. The regular TCP, which was discussed above, is known as TCP Tahoe. This is a basic elementary level TCP protocol we have discussed, which is known as TCP Tahoe. And this is the newest version, that is TCP Reno. TCP Reno is similar to TCP Tahoe with fast recovery. What is meant by fast recovery? We will get to know about it soon. On transmit on timeout, retransmission timeout or arrival of 3 duplicate acknowledgements, the TCP Reno sender enters the fast recovery phase, during which the TCP Reno sender retransmits the lost packet. It will retransmit the lost packet. Whatever packet is lost, this duplicate acknowledgements will be caused due to packet loss, right, or congestion. So it will retransmit the lost packet, reduces the slow start threshold and congestion window size to half the size of the current congestion window, same process, and increments the congestion windows linearly, 1 MSS per duplicate acknowledgement with every subsequent duplicate acknowledgement, right? This is same as that of basic TCP, right? I mean TCP Tahoe. On reception of a new acknowledgement, not a duplicate acknowledgement, that is an acknowledgement with a sequence number higher than the highest seen sequence number. As I have told you, the sequence number of present packet will always be higher than the past one with this low start threshold and enters the congestion avoidance phase. See, I will explain it clearly now. As you have seen here, this graph, this is normal process. This is slow start exponential growth process, which is common in both TCP Tahoe, I mean elementary TCP, and TCP Reno. Upon detecting congestion, whether it may be due to duplicate acknowledgements or due to packet loss, it will enter into this congestion control phase, where it reduces the congestion control window value to half of the congestion control window value, current congestion control window value. So it reduces this point, it reduces. See, slow start threshold, this delta indicates, it reduces, and then it increments linearly, right? It increments linearly. This is linear increment. This symbol indicates congestion detected. Here we have detected the congestion, and here. So again it has to go through the same process, that is the congestion control window value will be reduced to half of the current congestion window value, and then linear increment, This is the process followed by TCP Reno and TCP normal TCP, regular TCP one. But the difference is, here we will follow this fast recovery. On reception of a new acknowledgement will not be there in TCP Tahoe. That is TCP Reno. J.C. Hoy, he is another scientist. He has proposed this TCP New Reno. This is New Reno, TCP New Reno, extending the TCP Reno in which the TCP sender does not exit the fast recovery state. In the past one, TCP Reno, the TCP sender will exit the fast recovery phase after congestion has been solved. It will exit the fast recovery phase, right? But here it will not exit the fast recovery state when a new acknowledgement is received. Instead, it continues to remain in the fast recovery state until the packets originated are acknowledged, until the packets which are sent to the receiver must be acknowledged. Until then it will be in the fast recovery state. For every intermediate acknowledgement packet, TCP New Reno assumes the new packet after the last acknowledged one is lost and is retransmitted. For every intermediate acknowledgement packet, TCP New Reno assumes the next packet after the last acknowledged one is lost. It assumes that it has been lost. The last acknowledged packet is lost and it retransmits again. This is TCP New Reno. This is another one. This is another protocol, TCP with selective acknowledgement, that is SACK. It improves the performance of the TCP by using the selective acknowledgements provided by the receiver. As we have got duplicate acknowledgements, new acknowledgements, it uses this selective acknowledgement in order to avoid this confusion or ambiguity with respect to receiver. The receiver sends a selective acknowledgement instead of an acknowledgement, which contains a set of selective acknowledgement blocks. These selective acknowledgement blocks contain information about the recently received packets, which is used by the TCP sender while retransmitting the lost packets. In the confusion, the sender may retransmit the already acknowledged packets, right? So in order to get rid of those congestion and ambiguity, here we are selecting selective acknowledgement packets so that the sender will get to know about the received packets. That's it. Thank you so much. If you feel my video is worth watching, please do subscribe to my channel.